Hi, my name is Byron Martin here at Logie's Greenhouses, and today we're going to be talking about grafted plants and how to manage them in containers. So many plants are grafted, particularly fruiting plants, but also ornamentals, and the reason for that is to select a particular type or a clone of a variety and to propagate it using the root system of another plant. And that is something that is usually aligned with the genus and the family of the plant. So typically citrus are grafted. We have a carambola here, the star fruit, that's grafted. And mangoes are grafted, as well as many of our fruiting temperate plants like apples and peaches and pawpaws. So it's really a very efficient way to produce a plant that will not root on its own or that has trouble with a particular root system from its own roots. If this was a rooted cutting, the root system may not be very vigorous, or it may not be able to handle the soil conditions. And so we're able to put a rootstock on it that can handle the container better. And this particular one is a citrus. This is our Australian lime. It's a young graft. There's a point here where the union was made. You can actually see the young stem still kind of green there. That will eventually turn into a callus, but you can see the young stem still turning green there. This is an understock of Citrus macrophylla, which is a very good understock for container growing plants. It resists rot, root rot. So citrus tend to have a propensity towards root disease. This actually circumvents that. And so we do a bit of grafting with this particular understock to get that quality into it. It's also the Australian lime as a cutting is very slow. Once we put it on an understock with a lot of vigor, the plant will grow much faster. So that gets plants bigger and also improves production. But what happened here is that after the graft was done, we cut the top off, the graft grew, but some small buds that were below the graft have suckered. And it's really important when you're managing these to remove those, because the vigor coming out of this would eventually overwhelm the top growth or the sign or the plant that you desired, and this would actually become the plant. So what we want to do is when we have young grafts come in, we want to make sure we find where the union is, find that scarring, and you can see it here on this young mango. There's where the bud was attached and the top was cut off. And then this is an example of a carambola that was grafted. There's a bud right there. You can see the union. If you actually look close to it, you can see the type of bud. It was done by a chip bud. You can see the chip bud still showing the way it was united. And then we have this funny little sprout coming out that is from the understock. And this graft was cut a little bit high when they chopped the understock top off. And they left a bud there, and that bud is starting to grow. And there's enough vigor in that it probably in time would overwhelm this little carambola plant. And so what we want to do is make sure that we cut that off so that there are no more buds below that. One of the things that happens when you've had a grafted plant like this, after you've removed these suckers or these buds like this for a while, eventually the plant gives up and it will stop producing those suckers. Now that's not 100%, but generally once we've done that for a while, that whole process stops. All the buds have exhausted themselves. The top actually takes over and the plant actually kind of moves into the mode of whatever was on the sign or the desired plant on the top actually dominates. It's very important to do that. When you get a grafted plant, find the union, find that place where the two pieces were connected together. There's always a scar there somewhere. You can see the change in the bark and so on. And then keep your eye below for any little sprouts that may come off. And even before they get to this size, you can just rub them off with your fingers. If you do that, that top plant will grow and thrive and produce fruit or flowers or whatever the desired response was for that particular plant. So thank you for watching today. There's a little tip on how to manage a grafted container plant and get the plant that you want.